everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you with podcast number 238 with co-CEO of VV, Ben Rose, on affiliate and creator programs. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. And I was singing I Burn, which is a song from Ruby, and we have a partnership, I think, with Rooster Teeth, or it's with the company that owns Rooster Teeth. So I'll ask about that later. But it's been about 5 months to the date since we have had our I wouldn't say entre nous because it was obviously public. We have had our outing.
Yeah.
At that time, you were maybe like a month in. You were a baby CEO, and now you have evolved into your second form. Can you tell us what are the changes that you've seen, the ones that have happened on their own, the ones that you've implemented personally, and just your general overall view of the company and its trajectory since then?
Yes, I can. So loads and loads of change. I think when David and Dan brought me in, their brief was, let's do what we got to do to really scale this thing. And so over that 6 month period, we've made a lot of changes internally, externally. A lot of the stuff that you haven't seen in the community has been working on things like having a really clear business plan and clear focuses, and some restructures internally to make sure we've got the right capabilities. We've had some people come, we've had some people go, and just making sure that we're really set up for success. So there's been a lot around that, making sure that people have got KPIs, etc. A lot of it has been putting in place sort of foundational capabilities across the business as we sort of have transformed from being a startup to being a scale up. And so, that's all very well. That's all invisible stuff that happens internally. What does it mean? So I think the results of that have been what you've started to see over the last few months. So, if we go, let's think about community, for example. So we've now got an ongoing, regular, transparent dialogue happening with the community. So lots of conversations like this, lots of spaces where the team are, sharing information, taking feedback, and being a lot more open than we have been historically, which I think is really good. We've got things like the sponsored spaces happening. We've got more events happening and a schedule being published. So community wise, I think there's a lot there. The platform over the last 6 months, if you think about, we've launched the new web and new app platform, and we've just had a rapid succession of updates and upgrades to the point where we're not finished. But I think if you look at the platform now, the sort of stuff that we're able to do, that's been really valuable. Still we got some issues and speed, for example. We're faster than we were when we launched it. It's not where we want to be, but overall a whole lot of work's happened around that. The drops. So last 6 months we've done some amazing drops. Had a whole load of FAs. We had the Evolvables launch and then Evolve. Comics. I know we're going to talk more about comics, but we've had new publishers added to comics. We've had comic curator. We'll talk about getting finalized. We had this thing called the VeVeverse. Not sure if you heard of that. That happened. And we've also done a load of PR and comms. So we're starting to get VV and digital collecting in front of new audiences. So all of that has been very, very focused, I think, on our current community. So community sentiment's highest it's been. We had an all-time high of positive community sentiment. It was about 93% a couple of days ago. And then we've had on socials, we've had the highest number of contributors and posters and commenters than we've had in over a year. So community-wise, strong, really positive. I think the focus now, we've put those things in place, has to be growing the user base and getting us in front of new audiences. And that's, we're going to talk a bit about affiliates. That's it's about to launch. I'll talk you through some timings, but that, we've been doing a lot of work to build that, because it's all very well to say, you guys just do marketing and then people will come. If you want to launch an affiliate program, which we do, you have to build a whole lot of capabilities that we didn't have before. You got to have the ability to reward content creators, to track it. You got to have a tiered system. You got to have the ability to give someone who joins a gift, an incentive. There's a lot of stuff that you've got to have around that, which we've almost built. But yeah, getting it in place. So yeah, focus now. So if I look at the last 6 months, I go, the business has changed. We were a lot more structured and focused. I think we've got a lot more positivity in the community now. I think we've starting to rebuild a bit of trust around delivery and execution, but the missing piece is growth, user growth. So that's next.
Gotcha. So is there a formula or an algorithm? You said that we have a lot more people that are engaging on socials than previously, as at least year over year. Is there a formula that says, okay, if they're engaging in socials, that is 40% of the equation, and the actual users is 30%? Like, because the actual users, even though we've had an uptick the last couple of weeks, we've had I think half the time. On any given day, there's been at least 1,000 or more. Again, half the time, but in December there was like thousands per day. We had that. So how does that, as far as KPIs, what is more important? Is it in socials because that's going to bring in more people, or is it the actual active users because that's what actually brings in revenue?
Yeah. So the only KPI that really matters is revenue, but social engagement and a vibrant and active community is one of the key indicators of people who are into the product and engaging in the product. But of course, it's all very well if we have a small group who are super engaged. You have to grow that group. But unfortunately, there's no silver bullet. You've got to do both. You got to do both. So what we've focused on is the foundational stuff, which is making sure we've got a place that people can come to, engage, and do a whole load of new and cool stuff with their collectibles, so that we can go and bring people in.
Okay,
but you got to do both.
Agreed. So you had shout out to Vivi for being here. What's going on, Vivi? How's it going? You mentioned before that sometimes you get comments of like, oh, you guys are not doing anything, and obviously that's ridiculous. Reminds me of a quote that a buddy of mine said, that an intelligent man, if it's right, will do what he wants. And an ignorant man will do what other people want, even if it's wrong. So what are the most common things that a lot of armchair CEOs tell you that Vivi should do, but you don't do because it's wrong and it would be a net negative for the company? Can you tell us some of the less ideal ideas that some people have? I just think that'd be funny.
Yeah, it's not sometimes, it's daily. So yeah, some examples are, and it's not often the idea, it's the delivery. So very often you'll get messages like, "You guys are all idiots. Why aren't you marketing? Just do some marketing." And that's what it needs. So like, okay, good. We'll give that a go. Others say things like, the drop pricing's wrong. If you just change the pricing, increase it or decrease it, we've had both. That's the thing you need to do. If you just do that one thing, then that will grow the market. Others have said, you've got the wrong people, you've got the wrong product, you've got the wrong pricing, you've got the wrong placement. I mean, literally everything on any given day is either amazing or terrible. And so one of the great things about social media is it gives everybody a voice. And one of the really challenging things, I picked up Garbage Pail Kids too. One of the really challenging things is that it gives everybody a voice. And, some are more worth listening to than others. And so what the way I use social is I use it as a barometer. I certainly listen to feedback and voices. I look for trends. I keep an eye out for things that we might have missed and we haven't, come across internally. But I certainly don't take, business planning instructions from it, because to be honest, if it was as easy as every random on the internet being able to solve it, then everyone would have done it, right? So yeah, love social.
That's true. Wait, so the Garbage Pail, so Mars Attacks is like one of my favorite movies like ever. What is he talking about with Garbage Pail Kids and Mars Attacks? Is that a comic?
Comics, yeah, new Dynamite comics. Yeah.
No fucking way.
Really good. Yeah. And actually, I got the ultra rare Garbage Pail, and it's displayed in my VeVeverse.
Oh my god. Okay, so I have
Great
to.
Stories.
Oh my god, I have to get on that like right away, because again, I love Mars Attacks, and that's one of my favorite movies. So
they're really good books.
All right. So, well, one of the positive things that I think VeVe has done right, that's been a net positive, is VeVe Comics. Since we brought it up, they just had their first birthday, and I think it's probably one of the greatest things that VeVe has ever done. Like, this is VeVe's Louisiana purchase. What can you tell us about the curator program? Because for my comic daCAT that I've been writing, and the first book is done, David said to cut the cursing, but the 24/7 comics, they have a lot of cursing. So I feel like I'm getting a couple of mixed signals here. Tell me about the curator program. Tell me the guidelines, because I want to get really weird with it.
Okay. Don't get weird. At least wait till I've gone. Okay, so yeah, we're in the final stages of testing for the curator program. So that will be launching very shortly, and with it will come a very clear and succinct list of guidelines. What you can, what you can't do, and it won't be pages and pages and pages. It will be very specific. Swearing is allowed, but appropriately, and it's just about it's about making sure that you're conscious of the audience the comic is intended for. So I'll give you we'll give you those guidelines as part of it. We're going to publish. We'll talk about affiliates. We're going to take the same approach. We're going to publish it. Everything's written. Everything's transparent. There'll be a website where you can go and find all the information. It'll all be there. So there won't be any ambiguity. There won't be any mixed messages. In terms of comics, I agree with you. I think that's one of the best things that VeVe has done, and it was a classic David Yu as well. It was, he's a guy who plays 10 moves ahead of the rest of us, and so here we are looking at the comic industry like transforming before our eyes. And a year ago we launched, and now it was quite a while before that he had the idea and worked on putting it together to actually build it. And here we are now with a digital comic reading platform that's attracting publishers from all around the world and new styles, and enabling people to bring their comics to audiences which they wouldn't be able to through print, etc. So yeah, it was an amazing piece of foresight. And there's a lot that we're doing with VeVe Comics. Even just in the last 6 months. Think about what do we got? We've got Humanoids, Blaze, Dynamite on there. There's more to come, and more styles and comics from more parts of the world. Big publishers, small publishers, Phygital comics, not just digital, and also the comic curator program. Yeah, totally. Well, we've done our limited edition ones at events previously. We'll do more of those.
Yeah, Vincent, there's a lot.
Yeah, and I think comics we were talking before about the affiliate program and acquisition. I think comics is a real superpower of ours to attract new audiences, because it's a lot more straightforward of a conversation with a comic platform to talk about digital comics, because it's a thing that exists and they're more, people are more familiar with, to come and get them to try our version of it.
Yes.
It's a harder, longer term conversation to get people to understand digital collectibles, NFTs, etc., which we'll do. But comics as a conversation is a bit of a shorter one. So yeah, affiliate program will be looking to comic channels as well as a kind of a key way in.
Yeah, so I'm glad to hear you say that, because again, Vincent Zerzolo's Addiction comics have been great. You have the Phygital copies as well, and we'll go over guidelines in the future, or even off camera, about certain things with the daCAT comic, what we plan to do. Speaking of that, so recent tariffs have made it more expensive on a lot of different things, but more specifically, the cheapest way to get comics in America is to print them in China and have them shipped overseas. But a lot of times, a lot of humidity and water gets in, it ruins the comics. So a lot of people print them in Canada. They come down to the US, but tariffs have made that a bit more expensive. Has VeVe Comics seen an uptick in buyers in the US over the past couple months because of those tariffs?
We saw an increase, not specifically because of the tariff. No, we saw an increase obviously around the burn. And so we've and we've had some new titles drop which have done really well. So we have seen growth, not specifically linked to the tariffs. I think the tariffs and just the general economic environment in around the world, that's been challenging, I think, for everybody, because we're a pretty discretionary purchase for people. So making sure that we've got at price points that work in that kind of environment has been really important. So we've had drops that have sold out. We've had drops that have done badly. We've had drops that have kind of done somewhere in the middle. So I think, the tariffs by themselves directly to comics, no, but I think the general economic environment and potential recession, that's certainly been a challenge for sure. So we were talking before about what's changed in the last 6 months. I'm really proud of everything that's happened. Would I like to have 4x the user base? Totally. And I'm still going to work really hard. We're still going to give it a good nudge. But I think we've got to also be realistic about the environment externally. It's making it quite challenging, right? So that's just the world we're in. So I don't think I couldn't draw a direct line to increasing comic sales from the tariffs, but everyone's keeping an eye on what's in their pocket for now.
So, like, to be clear, if you wanted to, there could be you could say something, or you and David could come out on a joint venture and say something, and you could 4x the users tomorrow, but it would just be a wicked parabola where the users would go up for a couple days and come back down. Yeah, we're not, and
we're here to build a long-term business, like a sustainable business. So this isn't about a race to get headlines in the short term. This is we want this business to be around, and everyone on the platform wants it to be around forever as well, right?
Yes, forever and a day. It's a line from a Pokemon song. It's a great song. That's going to be my wedding song one day. Anyway, speaking of comic sales, so like we were able to do with gem sales back in the day, we can gauge how much people spend on the limited edition comics every Wednesday. However, the data on the non-NFT versions are not yet public.
No.
Can we get a ballpark figure on how much is grossed on any given week from that? Or do you plan to do that? Will you ever release that at some point?
No, it's private business. So all
right, so no plans to go public anytime soon either. That's what I'm getting from that.
No plans to go public anytime soon. No plans to go. No.
All right. So what's the political and business calculus on that? Because I think it would behoove the company if people knew they're making how much from that. Why keep it private?
Well, I think like pretty much every other private business in the world, it's only publicly listed businesses that list all of their financials, and they do it because they have to. I think there's a lot of advantages to businesses, competitive, etc., to not doing that. So we are like every single other private business that exists in the world and ever has in that respect.
I know. So I feel like that's one of those cliches of just like, oh, that's how it's always been done. Is like one of the worst things that you can say at times. Sometimes there's multiple reasons for that. But there's in the book, The Art of the Deal, Donald Trump's book, it says that like, oh, he has his advisor come to him and say like, this hotel that's right across the street from us, they just lowered their price from $500 a night to $480 a night. We should match them. But then Trump says like, no, they're telling everyone else that they're not as good as us. That's why you don't have to pay as much. And again, tell me if I'm being like armchair CEO here. Tell me, my Backstreet Boys, tell me why. I think that would be an incredible boon.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why private businesses don't open up all of their financials and give and issue minutes to all of their meetings. It's because for strategy you need two things. You need agility, and you need competitive advantage. When you go public, you lose those things. As you know, as we just said before, we get people telling us what we should do and what we shouldn't do every hour of the day. If we were to do that, we'd spend so much time justifying our actions. It wouldn't be in the interests of the community or the business. It just wouldn't be.
That's a good point. I'm glad.
And to be honest, but again, that's not just a VeVe thing. That is a privately owned
industry wide.
Yeah, every business.
I agree. Industry wide makes sense. Thank you for explaining that. So speaking of tariffs, imports to the U.S. are getting more expensive, and the general push to incentivize a lot of companies to be incorporated in the U.S., particularly crypto companies, but companies that would make things outside of the U.S. are now being incentivized to make things inside of the U.S. Has VeVe given any consideration into reincorporating in the U.S.? Because I know somebody in Ohio that can get you guys a really, really nice tax credit. So if no, what are some of the competitive advantages of being based in New Zealand? Because again, tax credit in Ohio, Tell me why.
Yeah, so 100%. We always look at different jurisdictions and we always consider our options. And there's a whole lot of different factors that go into it. It's where people are based, it's tax, it's regulatory clarity, it's the ecosystem that exists locally. It's all of those things. I think the recent situation in the US has shown is that you've got to make sure that you diversify your reliance on any one specific market. So we've got users across lots of different markets. The US is the biggest one, but there's lots of others. And we've spoken before about wanting to grow those other markets. And part of that is to one, grow the business, but also reduce reliance on any specific market. Because if something unusual happens there, that can really impact the business. So yeah, in answer to your question, have we considered moving to the US? Not specifically. But it's something that we always look at as part of running the business, and it's you do it from a risk and opportunity point of view. But yeah, no plans to move VV.
Am I Owen Wilson in that one famous meme? Because it'd be really cool if you did. No, I'm joking. I'm only serious. Mr. MC1 says, "Hi VV fam, OMI homies and all. Love you, Mr. MC1. He's my bae. He's my brown bae." Anyway, there's a couple of people asking about VeVeverse. So I'm not sure if you played this, but in Pokemon, in the second generation, Gold, Silver, Crystal, your mom buys you potions and dolls and certain things that you can only get if you send her money. Could the VeVeverse do the same in mystery gifts, where you pay X amount per month, and then every month you get a mystery gift? Oh, I didn't know this would appear in my showroom, and now it is.
We're going to announce what premium includes. And there'll be functionality and there'll be content benefits as well. So like I said the other day, anything's possible.
So there's an email that went out a couple weeks ago about level 100s, because they put so much into the app. They get it free for life. People that beta test, they get it for free for a year, but people that are level 100s, they get it free for life. Yeah. Can you go over some of the? Is it ready for you to be able to go over some of the costs of the VeVeverse Premium, or is there going to be? Can you at least say if there's different levels to it, or it's just going to be free and then premium and that's it?
Exactly, it's going to be free and premium and that's it. So we just want to keep it as simple as possible. So I can't tell you what the price point is yet because we haven't finalized it, but I will soon. Yeah, and it's right that the level 100s get premium for life, because everything that they do for us, it's only right. So. I can't give you any more detail than that, but when we announce it, we'll tell you. Can I just answer that question that came up about why is the app so slow? Thank you. So the app is slower than I'd like it to be. It's faster than it was. We're about 50% faster than we were previously. There are lots of reasons for both the fact that it's faster and the fact that it's not as fast as I would like it to be. It's the team's main priority. So you'll have seen a lot of the updates that we released. I'm glad those have been really well received, but the speed is something that the team continue to work on.
So that's the team's main priority. So obviously there are multiple teams within VV. I think last time you had said that, and granted this is 5 months ago, so it's probably changed multiple times, but you said that the R in R&D was VV's main priority. Has that changed to speed, or is it? Well, no, that's a different team.
So I think our priority has evolved. I think so. The priority for the last 6 months really has been getting our platform and our proposition up to scratch across all those different things we spoke about. Community, product, communications, all of those things. And so that's been the focus. The focus is now shifting to acquisition and growth. So if we're faced with the choice between a piece of functionality that is going to make it easier for people to onboard and one that is going to help people view more of their collectibles, we'll probably go for the former at the moment. We'll do both in parallel, but acquisition is starting to be the key focus.
We'll get. I don't think which way I should go. We'll continue with VeVeverse. So you mentioned in a recent interview with a guy with a very unique name. I forget it, but it sticks out.
You mean Rabbi Yitzi Weiner?
Yeah, that dude.
There's a name. There is a name, right?
Yitzi. Again, very, very unique. Yeah. So you mentioned that the mobile and granted this was said, I think weeks ago now, but he put it out last week. saying that the mobile version of VeVeverse will be ready within the quarter. Has anything changed since then? Or are we still on schedule for a March release of a mobile VeVeverse version?
Yeah, we're still on schedule.
The way you said schedule. So 2 to 2.5 weeks. That's
currently we're on track. Yeah, if it changes, I can let you know. But currently we're on track. And look, when I joined and we had that first announcement video, I said, judge us by execution. I think we've done that. So yes. At the moment, I can hand on heart say we're on track to the mobile app by the end of Q1. If it changes, if anything unusual happens that we didn't anticipate, I'll let you know. But no, we're on track with that.
You have probably the best track record of any CEO for timelines that I've in any company that I've had now.
Don't say that because you'll jinx it.
Gonna knock on. I don't have any wood. Knock on wood there. Okay, copy that. So there is. Do you have a TikTok account?
Not a public one, no.
Okay, but you go on it like you have one. Like
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Are you familiar with Book Talk?
Ish.
Okay, so you know that there are women out there that are absolutely feral for certain types of books, and there are just people in general that are feral for that type of thing. As the VeVeverse continues to get upgrades and iterations, and we'll go over that later, but what are VV's plans for if people, doesn't have to be any type of gender or sex, but what if people in general do what they do and you have some not safe for work VeVeverse spaces? Do you guys plan to regulate that when it inevitably starts to happen? Or do you guys just say, let the free market do what it does and create another ecosystem?
No, not the latter. So we've got community guidelines. And the reason we've got community guidelines is because we want people to enjoy this space.
Keep going.
So we've got community guidelines for a reason, because this is a place we want to be inclusive. We want people to enjoy it. We don't want this to be a place that scares people off. So yeah, there are guidelines for a reason.
Okay. This is just I won't do every super chat, but this one is here. Are there plans to still have other projects to use OMI, such as Phygital has done it before, Epico's done it before? And if so, how does one start that process? Because there are a couple of people, I'm guessing VV Zombie, and including me and Turtle Golf, that have plans to use OMI in other different ways. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I can, but I can do it sort of as an outsider OMI, and we should probably talk about that because I know there's been a lot of questions about OMI. So the best way to do that is contact Foster. So I know that OMI has and does collaborate with a number of different projects, and would like to talk to Foster. But I think it's really important to just talk about the elephant in the room, which is why doesn't Ben talk about OMI? And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I got hired by David and Dan to run VV and to grow VV and to build VV and make VV successful. OMI is a big part of that, absolutely. And so to that extent, I work with David and Foster and co on that. But my focus is VV. So I don't drive the strategy for OMI. I don't decide what they do and don't say on socials. I don't decide where they get listed. That's not what I do. I spend every single hour of my day on VV. So I can tell you, I can answer questions about OMI in as much as it relates to VV and the opportunity that I see for VV to grow through OMI. And of course, VV grew initially through people coming through the token. And so that's why, super excited about the stuff we're doing with Stacker. That's why OMI to NFT is really important. But in terms of what's next for OMI, what's going to happen with OMI, that's not me. I'm the reason you've seen so much happening with VV is because my dedicated focus with the team is that. So yeah, that will be a conversation more to have with Foster and David.
So first off, everyone comment F down below to pay respects to Foster's DMs, because rip his DMs after this. Second off, I'm glad to hear you say that OMI has been a way for people to discover VV. That was probably the main way that people had discovered VV back in the day. And because from our last conversation, at least publicly, you had mentioned, or at least confirmed, that some good fortune would happen to you, or some of your salary, or however you would talk about
yes.
that, would
Yeah,
come from the growth of OMI, or I'm sorry, the growth of VeVe. And last time VeVe grew because of the growth of the OMI token. Have you taken that into consideration when talking about affiliate marketing and talking about the ways to grow users, etc.?
Yes, obviously. So I think there've been two kinds of users of the VeVe platform over the years. There have been those that came in for crypto and left for crypto. There have been those that came in because they love the fandom and stay for the fandom. And there's been a bit of mixture of both, and one kind's turned into another, and a bit of both. We still would like to attract both. I want to grow this platform for us all, and I want there to be a really vibrant user base on it, and that's going to come from both sides. So the answer is yes, we have. I think when it comes to growing through OMI and Stacker, that part of that depends on having the full range available through Stacker, but that absolutely enables Stacker and VeVe to then market to people who are in that space. The affiliate program is more focused on people who are aligned with fandoms. So that is going out to YouTubers and communities who are getting together around those fandoms and getting them to come across. So yeah, the answer is both.
Oh, I was on mute. Very good. So Ed Feely says, kudos for releasing the VeVeverse. So
Thanks, Ed.
this and again, incredible accomplishment. This is version 1 of the VeVeverse. Will it be like the app where it gets updated all the time, or will some of the updates be more spaced out because of how big it is?
The first one. So first of all, I can't take the congrats. It has to go to Dan and the team. So Dan and the team at Cavernous and the team internally have done so much work on this, and it's another one of those things where it looks super easy to build a metaverse, but it's not that easy. And so they did really, really well, and we're really proud of it. But yeah, I said when we launched it, I think we're at iPhone 16. When the iPhone first launched, it had one set of functionality, and it evolved over time, exactly the same as the VeVeverse. It will continue to evolve. The more people use it, the more they want to see all of those kind of things. Like the way that people are using it right now, there are ways in there that we haven't thought of, didn't think about. So we're going to need to understand and contribute to. So yeah, totally, it's going to continue evolving. That was always the plan.
Very good. So you seem to have rolled out the first iteration of the VeVe affiliate program with sponsored spaces, YouTube shows, all that jazz. Now that you have the VeVeverse rolled out, or at least version 1 of it, we have more stuff than ever to talk about. When will the next iteration of the affiliate marketing program roll out? What would that look like, and how many iterations might there be?
So really pleased to say it's going to roll out next week. So a little bit of alpha for your show. So we will be launching the affiliate program next week. We'll do a full announcement, go through all the details, and exactly how it works, what it's going to look like, how to participate, what people will get paid, how, etc. That will go live next week. So when I first joined, talking to David and Dan about what the opportunities were, one of them, which they were really conscious of, was how we engage more closely with the community, more regularly with the community, and how we also reward them for their loyalty over the years. And so this is a big part of that. It's not something that you launch quickly. Unfortunately, I would have liked to launch it a couple of months ago. It's taken us a bit longer, but we've built the program. It's going to be a really straightforward program that is going to reward content creators with cash for signing up new users to VeVe. And so I think we'll go into a bit more detail next week about it. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be pretty good.
It's awesome. So last week you had Disney announce that at South by Southwest, which we were at last year for the Amazing Marvel event, they announced that the Disney X Fortnite mode will be linked to in real life Disney Park. Does this mean that Disney is open to doing that for all of their licenses, whether it's at Cryptoys, whether it's at Disney Pinnacle, or at VeVe as well, where they could potentially see all 4 of these companies have their collectibles be affected by park rules? or what happens?
So I'm not going to speculate on what a licenser's plans are, but I think, look, it's really, really exciting, right? To blend the the virtual with the physical world. I think that's very exciting. There's a lot of potential there for sure.
Okay, very good. I will take that. So there is a bunch of VV. So last time we talked, it was like a week or so before Comic-Con.
Yeah.
You did not go to New York Comic-Con because, again, you had just started. You had to hit the ground running. The events now, we have London, we have Lisbon, San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, and I think Vegas for Designer Con.
Yep.
California Comics commented asking if Ben will be in London in May. Would you be in London in May, or are you going to go to any of these events, or all of the events, or some? Not sure. How can we tell?
Yes, I'll definitely be in London for sure. Flights are booked, so I'll definitely be there. And not sure about all of the others. I mean, I plan to go to them all, but we'll see. David and I will be in London for sure. So right now we're planning out exactly what each of those events is going to look like. Some of them we're going to have an official presence and a booth. Others we're going to have a side event and attend as attendees. It'll differ. So yeah, we'll like we've said, we will publish. There'll be an Auckland event at my house. Like I said, we'll publish details around every single one of those events. We just wanted to give people a heads up that that's where we're going to be. Some of those events, it makes sense for us to have a full booth and activation. Others we might do a dinner and a lunch and a drinks and that kind of thing around it. So yeah, TBC. But yes, I'll definitely be in London for sure.
Ben, I'm sorry, David has in the past said, and my friend Ernie has won it before, for a Gary Baseman 1-of-1, he said that whoever won that would have won a lunch with him, and Ernie won that. Is there something that you would do in one of the 1-of-1s or any collectibles? Like, what would it take? And that he actually did that twice. Once was with with Dr. Profit, he won. My friend Ernie won the other one. Would you do something similar where if someone wins a 1-of-1, or if they get a certain mint number, that they could win a lunch or a dinner with you at any of these events?
I mean, it would be a bit of a booby prize, but I would happily do that. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can hold you to that.
That's fine. That's fine. Look, the other thing that we do, around those events is also we catch up with our level 100s who are there too. So, they'll do that, and they don't have to buy a 1-of-1 for that.
Very good. Very good. Love the VV Magic. Love this. So we still have Viz Media, right? They're the ones that owned Rooster Teeth. We
do. Yes, we do. We do. You've reached the edge of my knowledge there as well, so I would have to defer to someone smarter than me. But yes, we do.
Okay, very good. So back in the day, when I was in high-risk lending loans, we had our clients fill out this login sheet so that we can log into their accounts and see what their most recent transactions were, so we can get a month to date. Similarly, Axie Infinity had these things called scholarships, where people who had free time could build the game, or they could build the game of others who did not have the free time. And it created this market within a market where they could just log into somebody else's account, but not really do too much with it. It's basically an organ inside an organ system. And currently, many VV users have had a bit of difficulty building their VeVeverse areas. So is VeVeverse working on something similar where people that have more skill and more time can build something for the people that have the money, they have the collectibles, but they don't have the time or the skill to build it?
So our plan when we launched it was to launch it, and we called it responsive innovation, because if you give it a name, it's a thing. So the plan was to launch it as kind of V1 with all of the functions that we thought people would find cool, and then see exactly how they used it. And so one of the ways that they are using it that we thought might be the case but hadn't anticipated is commercially, with people. You've got people making merch, you've got people, there's California Comics comic store, etc., and there's Masteroni's business card, all that sort of stuff. So are we building something right now? No, we are looking at that to decide what we need to build. So we see the VeVeverse as potentially, a place where there can be a creator economy. What shape that takes yet, we're not clear. So we've got the comic curator program about to go live. We've got stuff happening on here which is pretty early, pretty nascent. So I think it's safe to say that in the future, absolutely, there will be the ability for people to do something of some sort on there. I couldn't tell you right now what it is, and we're not building it today. That's for sure.
Okay, copy that. So when I first interviewed you 5 months ago, you said that it really wasn't appropriate to say what challenges you had overcome because you were there for like a month. But now that it's 5 months later, I want to return to that question. What's been the greatest victory for you in terms of VV and your time as CEO there?
I think can I have two?
Sure. You have as many as you want.
Thank you. I'll take two. So the first one is our team. So today we've got a team who are really, really clear on what the priorities are, what the focus is, how we're doing, and what they need to do. So that clarity and focus, I know it sounds really boring, but I'm really, really proud of that because that is really, really important, and not always the case in a startup. So that I'm really, really pleased with. So today I could pull up on my screen our business plan, our structure. Any person in the business, I can tell you exactly what their job is to do and how they contribute to growing this platform. So that's the first thing internally. Really, really, really pleased with that. The second one is the community sentiment. So the fact that I said some of those numbers before. We had right now we're at a 93% neutral and positive sentiment. We've got more content creators from our community creating content and engaging in content than we've had in over a year. That to me makes me really, really pleased and suggests to me that we're going in the right direction. The thing that frustrates the hell out of me is that we haven't been able to get to the growth part yet, and there's just stuff that we have had to do to get in place. And so part of being a leader is patience, and I'm not very good at that. So if there are two things I'm proud of, internal, external, those would be those. But got to focus on the growth now.
That's fair. So getting to some of the Twitter things, you had posted the other day a flame. I'm guessing that right now has just been, this was just to Johnny Blaze from the Fantastic Four. That's what that was from, correct?
Yeah, it's the Human Torch Mighty.
David had posted, or he didn't post. VeVeverse had posted the other day, or he had asked the question like, "Hey, it would be really great if we can get some of these, some things like VV had given out free, like not showrooms, but free, I guess, furnished versions of showrooms that people get for free." And he's like, "Hey, it would be really great if you had multiple others of these that we could pay for with OMI and then burn that OMI." And then David had responded with fire emoji and then the red O emoji.
He did. I think he meant fire emoji as in that's a fire idea. But yes,
with the red OMI. Okay,
I know. Right. Yeah, I know. So yeah, look, the OMI team at the moment are planning out some ways to integrate OMI into the VeVeverse right now. So yeah, that's a possibility. We're working on it right now.
Okay, the upgrading collectibles using OMI. Again, anything's possible. Obviously, nothing is.
Yeah, it's not. Right? Ernest, I'll be honest with you now. It's not something that we are currently working on. And I've always said that I'll be completely straight, and sometimes I'll be telling you it's a no for something that's quite cool. That, for example, would be pretty cool, but it's not something we've prioritized right now. That's
cool. Understand that.
But then on the other side of the ledger, we have done a few bits in the last few months. So hopefully you can see that prioritization comes with saying no to things in order to say yes to other things, right?
Yeah. So we're going way back on this, and this is very old news. This could have changed 100 times since then. And I think late 2023, maybe late 2022, you had the Mogul Grin stuff being teased. You had VeVeverse IP branded worlds being teased. Obviously, that couldn't come without the first iteration of the VV showroom or the VeVeverse being teased. But now that it is there different steps, or originally step 2 was IP branded worlds? Is that still step 2, or is that moved to steps 3 and step 4, and there are other step 2s and step 3s before having IP branded worlds?
No, that we're talking to licensors about how their brands can show up and what that could look like in the VeVeverse and what that might mean. So yeah, for sure, that's something we are actively working on.
Okay.
In terms of VVIP, I think that's an interesting conversation, and we've definitely got plans around that. You know, over the years we have had our own IP. Even just looking at the gold and silver. Thanks, Ricky. I didn't think we were going to get a subtitle saying "Chur the Bros" on this. Love it.
What is that referencing? I'm an American and I'm dumb and I don't know what that
Chur the Bros is a Kiwi way of saying hey to the guys.
Oh, okay.
So chur to the chur to Ricky. So yeah, we've over the years we've had VVIP, the logos, and we recently with the with the LA5s, those kind of things. We are developing some VVIP as well. I won't go into too much more detail because we've got a bit of work to do on it. But yeah, for sure, we're interested in that space.
O'Milly Tees had just posted breaking news. Ben Rose just confirmed that the affiliate program will roll out next week. Can you tell us how many people would be part of that for right now, or how many? Yeah, exactly. How many people? Whether it's 3 to 6.
The keywords in that announcement were next week. So I'll tell you then.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. Both Sleep in Comics and Mr. MC1 had purported the idea that, like, hey, would you guys are doing subscriptions for VeVeverse? Would you be able to do subscriptions for VV Comics, where if you pay $10 a month, you can get 4 or 5 comics each month that you can do? Or is that something like, well, we'd be giving away too much with that, and we'd have to tweak the numbers a bit?
We have considered subscription based. It's not something we're looking at the moment. The reason is our real focus is going to be growing user numbers. So we've got this drop based model right now, and that's what we're gonna stick with. We're gonna make sure that we're getting in front of the right people. But as we mature, I'm sure we'll look at other other payment methods as well. But it's not one that is on the short or medium term list.
Okay, gotcha. Ernest Kozay, what about gold logo holders for VeVeverse Premium? So that one, obviously, we know they get it. Oh no, level 100s get it for life. What about gold logo holders?
It's not a benefit. It's not a benefit we're giving to gold logo holders. We've unfortunately got to draw the line somewhere. So we've said beta testers and level 100s. And look, I get arguments on both sides, but at some point you have to just make some calls. So that was where we went.
Agreed. I want VV to make a lot of money. I want them to make as much money as possible, and if that's where you got to draw a line, that's fine. That's fine. Talking about OMI integration of VeVeverse. So right now, OMI is not listed anywhere as a metaverse token, but I believe and obviously it's going to take some coding, but with a couple flicks of the wrist, you could be able to say like, oh, hey, you can get this little duck that sits on top of your head as a hat, or $1's worth of OMI, and it could be a VV duck, and you could have VV rocks, and you get enough VV rocks, you get a mason yard. Will the opportunity for OMI to be part of the VeVeverse in that way come before or after the IP branded worlds?
I don't have an answer for you because there's moving parts in both sides of those.
Fair point.
So again, here's why it's better to be a private business than a public business. Couldn't tell you which one. Yeah. Everyone click nice down below.
Nice down below.
Very good. Very good. So that was distracting. I can't give you exact timeframes or what that's going to look like. So all I say is it will play a role. Yes, I am. It will play a role in the VeVeverse. Exactly what that role is, as yet, I can't tell you because we're still working on it. The focus with the VeVeverse right now is making it as easy as possible for people to use it, building out and designing the premium, which will launch shortly. That's the real focus right now.
Sure. So there's dailies for VeVeverse that people want, which is fine. We'll probably get that at some point. Are there plans to enhance MCP usage?
Yes, there are plans.
Sweet.
So this is one of those areas where a lot of these questions and a lot of questions that a lot of the questions that you ask me is, are we going to have this? Are we going to do that? And I think if we think about MCP, there's already a lot of ways to use MCP. Could there be more? Absolutely. But I think we've got to choose where we focus our energy. So if I'm a relative newcomer to this business, if I take a step back and I look at the whole ecosystem we've currently built, is it perfect? Is it finished? No. But you know what? There's of course. But you know what? There's a lot of functionality across every single part of this ecosystem that nobody else in the industry has got. So it's leading. It's the best there is. So I think we have to get ourselves out of the habit of going, if we just build this thing, if we just add this one thing on, it's gonna 10x the business. I think we've got a really strong product. I think what we need to do is we need to do a better job of articulating and promoting it. So that's where things like the affiliate program are going to come in.
Agreed. Shout out to everyone that's been here. Digital Tommy's, Walmart has their own Metaspace and Spatial. Will VV ever have the IP branded spacers all users can visit, or will we be forever limited to 30 to 40 peeps?
We'd like to. We'd absolutely like to. It's certainly something we're exploring.
Awesome. I remember Dan Lee once said, Asian Dan over on X said that my financial future rests in the hands of a man named Puddin Cheeks. And that lives rent free in my head. Now, obviously, he said that for a laugh, and he got it. But there was also a hint of seriousness in that. And obviously, VV is not meant to be anything close to an investment. It's just a fun place to collect stuff you like. That's why I have the Marble Mighties, and I have the Cryptkins. Cryptkins, I don't think will ever go up. And then I have like 200 plus, like 300 alligator Lokis. But does that ever weigh on you that there are some people that have staked their financial futures in VV and OMI? Or is that just like, listen, they're adults, they can do whatever they want. My job is my job, and it's irrespective of anything that anyone else has placed bets on?
No, every single user, the fact that they have trusted us with their money and their time and their trust and their commitment, absolutely that weighs on me. Yeah, I never take that for granted. And people are adults and they make their own decisions for sure. But I'm really conscious. This is a platform that means a lot to people they've used over the years, and means a lot to people for a lot of different reasons. That's one of them. But it means a lot to people because of the connections they make, because of the things they've discovered, the times they've had on it, the time they've spent on it. Look at the VeVeverse, the amount of time people are investing in building in there. That does weigh heavily on me. I don't know if it weighs heavily on me. It drives me. It makes me, do the best job I can do. It makes the team do the best job that they can do. But all I can do is say to every single user, on behalf of the team, we work as hard as we possibly can every single day to make this the best platform it can be. And hopefully now you're seeing, you're seeing some, fruit of some of the things we've spoken about. But yeah, that's all you can do, right? Is you can just do your best.
Yeah. People are asking when they can get their Elmon X art into VeVeverse. People are saying like, hey, Elmon X is amazing. There's multiple people asking that. Obviously, you had an email go out like a week or two ago saying that all of your collectibles aren't in there yet because of XYZ. Is that one of those things you guys plan to add in the future, or is it like, listen, that's a different IP, we have no control over that? Just let me know your thoughts on it.
We're aware of the request from people, and we are having a think about how we might do that. It's never going to be just an open free for all, because that means it becomes a non-brand safe environment. It means that brands withdraw. It means there's a whole lot of risk for users. So yeah, it's something we are thinking about how we could do that. But I'm not going to make any commitments about it happening or timeframes, because there's a long way to go on that.
That is fair. So back in 2021, maybe 2022, you had Disney, you had other IPs. And this is obviously before your time, but they had posted on their socials about VV and the drops that were coming up, and they haven't done that in years. Can you give us a little bit of insight into why? Are they waiting for the right market? Are they just here to kind of collect the paycheck from what VV can give to them? What do you think are their reasons for not posting about VV?
I think it's two-sided, and it's a bit on us as well as them. So I think first of all, brands will invest their time and their effort where they're going to get a return. the digital collectibles has been a smaller part of their business over the last few years than some others. That's where they've put a lot of their marketing focus. So that's changing. Collectibles market, as we've said previously, is growing. The digital collectibles part of it is growing almost 4 times as fast as physical collecting. So it's absolutely growing. So that will definitely change. But we all in this space have to be realistic about the small real estate in lots of big brands' minds that we as the digital collectibles industry take up. While it's everything for us, for them it's just one of many, many, many channels. So that's the first one. On the other side, I think it's on us to do a better job of working more closely with them to co-brand, co-market, get into their databases. So very recently, when we launched some of those new comic publishers, the team did a fantastic job of working with them to go to their user bases, to incentivize them to come over. And so I think, it's a bit of both. The bigger companies, we are, one of many, many, many partners they work with. The smaller artists are more open to doing that kind of thing. So there's a balance of both. I think if you saw on Millispace recently, there was the Hazard Oddie artist, and the independent artists will always be easier than those massive brands because we're going to be a larger part of their business. But again, it's on us to push both.
Gotcha. There are people asking for about more vertices, but I would like to talk about recent vertices. So we have music. Obviously, we have a bunch of English stuff.
Can we just talk about the word vertices? I didn't know that. That's good. Isn't that like the plural?
I don't know if that is a word. It sounds good. It sounds
very good. I think we'll take it. Let's do vertices.
It sounds correct. But yeah, totally. I mean, I understand, hey, we didn't just get this random boxer out of Malaysia or the Philippines that has 30 amateur fights and that's it. No, we had Joseph Parker, which is a huge deal.
Yeah.
But I understand, I don't want to say the footer side, but the other side where it says oh, you have one person with 2 drops of a sport that's not crazy popular in the world. Does that really count as an entire vertical for sports when it's just that? Are there any plans for adding to that, or is it just no, we just needed that feather in the cap, and we'll continue doing that for X amount of time?
So getting new licenses is a long-term thing. So the work that David does, it's not as easy as just emailing or calling someone. It takes a lot of time. So we are having, and he leads them. We are having conversations with licensors in all vertices all the time, every single day, every single country, every single vertical. It's just not as easy as going, well, we'd like to have 10 in this space, so let's just go and sign 10 of those up. So that's one thing that's happening. That's nothing. There's nothing in there that I can say to you next week this is going to go live, because it's we're talking about IPs that we're going to announce in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. The way we have worked historically has been as a startup, as a really ambitious startup. We've just gone for broke and built the licensor base with all of the ones that we could get relationships with, and leveraged all the relationships that we've got. What we're doing now as part of our plan is being a bit more structured and focused to say, right, we're strong in digital in digital art, in pop art. We're strong in pop culture. Comics, we need to focus on growing. Art, we need to focus on growing. So we've got some great artists in there. We need more. We want to build that out. The same with comics. Being really deliberate about that and focusing on getting new publishers on, Comic Curator, etc. So music and sport are verticals that we would like to grow. They're not short-term focuses. We are working on them, but in the shorter term, it's going to be about comics and art and pop culture.
Copy that. You have a lot of fans here. Everyone's saying bravo for the affiliate program. There are certain people that I think have stuck around specifically because of you. You even have Ace Rick Move saying 4 of our crew just signed up to VV in the account. He had messaged me a couple of times last week saying that they're in the middle of the Pacific on an oil rig, and because of Starlink, they were watching me and they they
Amazing.
love
Wow.
they love you. They love you.
That's
They love
awesome.
VV. How do you keep that from like going to your head? Do you have to like counteract that by saying like they're just saying that because you can make money in the future? They don't really care about like how do you keep from your ego swelling? Because obviously you get a ton of love and you get a ton of people saying that they love and would die for you.
Well, I've got kids and a wife who they're really good at helping me not have a big ego. That's very useful. Look, I think we look, the team absolutely love positive feedback, because God knows we get negative feedback, and sometimes it's fairly personal, and that can be quite challenging for the team. So getting that positive feedback means more than you would imagine. It really means a lot, because we do, we work really, really hard from top to bottom of the organization. There isn't a single person who doesn't work really hard at this stuff, whatever their area of focus is. So that feedback really, really means a lot. When someone posts the fact that you can now see which collectibles you own, the fact that the background on the collectibles in the app changed and they've been asking for it for a long time, or whatever it might be, there's someone in our business who championed that, built that, tested that, and launched that. So yeah, it means a real lot. You have to take it with a pinch of salt, because just as quickly it can turn negative. And so I always apply a bit of skepticism, because I've done interviews where I've had messages after saying, this guy's an idiot, this guy's a scammer, this guy's a whatever, insert swear word here, and others saying, oh my God, this guy's amazing. So you sort of somewhere in the middle is probably the truth.
That's fair. It has to be. I feel like it has to be weighed, though, that people that are super successful, maybe people that are on the screen right now, singing your flowers, and then you have like the haters that probably never done anything in their life. They're the ones that are hating. It's like, oh, it's probably easier to take that negativity.
The approach that I take is I want to make sure that all of my time is spent for the benefit of the business. And so on X, for example, if there are people who all they do is troll and just insult me, I'll just mute them. I won't block them, because that will create more work. I'll just mute them, because I don't want to be spending time that I could otherwise be spending on something that another user, another community member is going to value. So I do curate my feed a little bit, just to make sure I'm spending time on things that are going to add value and not ones that aren't.
That makes sense. So you have the affiliate marketing program coming out. You just had the VeVeverse come out. Is there going to be a community update anytime soon for some? Is this the community update? And be like, just do with this. Does this negate?
No, there will be. We've recorded it. I'm not quite sure when it's going to be edited. I think the next couple of days, but yeah, for sure.
All right, cool beans. If you
no pressure to Corey and his team, but yeah, quite soon.
I hope you get my good side if this is recorded, and probably not if it's already recorded and it's almost done. So speaking of community, that there's communities everywhere. My DMs are a war zone. A lot of times the community, if there's a ton of people that are in the know, they can help educate newcomers, whether it's Discord, Twitter, Telegram. But VeVe and Akomi don't have a Telegram anymore, at least not where people can participate. In places like daCAT, in places like Devi, in places like Definity, you have the team that has that Telegram, and then you have the underlings underneath the team that can help newcomers with any questions. So why doesn't VeVe or Akomi have one? Where can there be a place where newcomers can go to participate, asking questions, where it's somewhat regulated as well? Because obviously Twitter's a war zone. If somebody asks a question, you'll have a bunch of fudders be like, oh, it's a scam, just take your money out. Obviously, you can mute or ban those people in a Telegram chat. Why doesn't VeVe or Akomi have one?
I don't have a specific reason why we don't have. We haven't decided not to have one.
No.
We've got at the moment, and again, I can't talk about on behalf of Akomi, so go and ask Costa. I'll tell you about VeVe. So we're TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Those are the channels that we use. We use them, each of them for different purposes. I think, and Discord, of course. There are loads of ways for people to get in touch with VeVe. It's not hard for them to find VeVe. So I don't if Aaron was to come and say to me, let's set up a Telegram group or channel, I'd probably say no, because I'd probably focus on what we've got and make that work harder. So, and to that point that I made before, I'm wanting us to make sure that we're really working the stuff that we've got. We're really leveraging what we've built hard rather than just building a new thing. Because we could go on to, Threads and Telegram and Blue Sky and Mastodon and you name it. But I think the ones we've got, I think there's plenty of opportunity for people to communicate with us. I just don't think we need a new one.
Whoever did that recent Gambit artwork, take a bow.
Yeah, thank you. Can I just talk about our production team and our creative team?
Yeah, absolutely.
So they are awesome, right? So we've done shows in the past, and we'll probably do more where we talk about the process behind the collectibles. But they sit with they sit with the licensor, they do their research, they understand the character, and then they come up with the ideas, and then they build those things. And those animations on Gambit were amazing. And one of the really hard things for the production team and the creative team is they built that ages ago, so they know what's coming and they can't show you, and they only get to see the public and the community's reaction to it months and months and months later. So the work they did on Gambit was next level. But there's so much cool stuff that they're doing. It's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah, hats off to them. They do a great job, and thank you for recognizing it.
Of course. So recently, Mario Nawful, and I've checked this myself, it's actually increased. Mario Nawful pointed at 38%, but Polymarkets have it at, I think, 41% now, that there's a 41% chance that the US goes into a recession. What is VeVe's plan for if that happens? Like, what are their contingencies? Like, they have a plan for right now if we don't, and then they have a plan right now if we do, and then obviously another plan if we go absolutely banana zone. Can you tell us the difference between those plans?
I won't go into detail because I won't go into detail. But yeah, of course we have plans. So we always do scenario planning for various things happening in different markets, and what would our strategy be, and what are the levers, right? The levers are how much you build, how much you market, where you do it, what you launch, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we're keeping a very, very close eye on all of that for sure.
Okay. The top 500 users now own almost 2 million. I think that's actually less than 20%. I think VeVe has sold like 12 million, give or take, comics and digital collectibles. But either way, they do have a lot. Does that worry you at all? Does that be like, oh, this is getting a little too top heavy, or is like, no, this is great. They're buying now and they're going to be rewarded.
For sure. Short term, it doesn't. Long term, absolutely. We have to grow the number of users to come in. We want to spread that far wider for sure. You look at most businesses that are selling products online. They've got a similar challenge at the moment where they want to grow and they're looking for different ways to grow. So yeah, that's the thing that keeps me up at night the most, is the need to grow our user base. And like I said to you earlier, I would have loved 6 months to come in and just crack into that on day one, but we weren't ready to, and there was stuff that we had to do. So the things that we're talking about in this stream, and the things that we've been launching, they take time to build. And so yeah, absolutely, it concerns me, and that's really the big focus.
Okay, great. So last time, we had pumped twice. Once was because of a certain team member that had gone rogue and had paid BitBoy and Logan Paul and Crypto R Us hundreds of thousands of dollars to kind of talk about the project and pump the token. And then the next time we pumped a month later was because just the digital collectibles narrative hit, and then we had pumped from that as well. With the affiliate marketing program, the rollout of Stacker, the rollout of VeVeverse, are you trying to recreate that pump? Or is it just like, it doesn't necessarily matter what we do, and it's only going to matter what the macro does, and we're just trying to build a bigger foundation for when that happens?
I'll take the second one. So okay. We're not after a pump. We are not after a short-term sugar hit influx of users who come in and then leave. That is not of benefit to anyone interested in the growth and success of this business, because it costs money to onboard someone, and it costs money to offboard someone, and that's money that the business and ultimately the community loses. So we want sustainable growth. And so our play at the moment is that is going to come through, and it might be slower than we'd like it to come, but it's going to come through fandoms, because what is consistent through bull and bear markets is the growth of collecting. Because when you love a particular team or a sneaker or a character or a movie, you love it irrespective of a bull or a bear market. So if people come in because they love whatever that fandom is, of which we've got lots, if they come in because they absolutely love that, that's the yes, it does. I'm with you, Magic. That's going to be a sticky customer. That's going to be an engaged customer. That's going to be a customer who's going to come in and not buy just one collectible, but buy two. That's a customer who's going to connect with other people who are into that thing in spaces on Discord, in the VeVeverse, and engage. If someone just comes in short term and they're not really into it for the right reasons, they're not going to connect with community. They're not going to engage in those different spaces, online, offline. They're going to detract value from the business. So yeah, that's where we're focusing. In terms of OMI to NFT, definitely there is an opportunity for sure, and there's that will open up an audience, and that will bring some people back. But I want to make sure that we bring them back for the right reasons. We bring them back because this is a collectibles platform. So there was a question before about what's going to bring the next NFT narrative. I don't know whether there's going to be the new NFT narrative, because
well, I think he was saying that you could artificially create it with the hype of the affiliate program, depending on how you do it. But again, last time when that happened, that lasted for maybe 2 months before everything went back down again.
It's not real. That's the problem with hype, right? Hype is not real. So I think
hype is temporary. Yeah.
What we're here to do is we're here to build a valuable business with a genuine, engaged, growing user base. And so you've got to bring people in for the right reasons, and people who come in for the right reasons stay, and that grows it. So I don't think creating a short-term narrative, I don't think is in anyone's long-term interest.
No. So I've done multiple videos and live streams about this, where you have your normal drops and the Phygitals. And I'll repeat this. I'm sure you've heard this multiple times, but like the 4th or 5th drop of Lambo, I think the first day grossed like 11, 12K. And then by the second day, it had grossed 25K. But then you had the running Mon gross like 35, 38K. And then the most recent one, you had an article about that recently. I think 2 articles about that recently. That grossed another 35K. And because of the Phygital aspect about it, it had outsold Lamborghini, one of the most popular brands in the world. Again, granted, we have a shrinking audience, and this was like the 4th or 5th Lambo that they've dropped for a much higher price. But the Phygitals, like I know you've had experience with it before, not just with the collectibles, but with comics as well. Is that something that you guys might lean into more into the Web 2, because that's apparently where the money is? Or is it just like, well, we can do it once in a while, but we can't overdo it?
No, so yes, we're definitely keen to do more Phygitals, and we're in talks right now about doing some really exciting ones. So yeah, absolutely, there will be more Phygitals for sure. I don't know if those drops did better than Lamborghini because there was a Phygital element, though. I think if you think about in the last quarter, the drops that have done really well in terms of percentage sell through, we had Epico 1 and 2, we had Running Mon. Okay. Running Mon, no, the answer is no. Running Mon, and we had Hazard Oddie, right? So three drops that did really well. I think they were 100% sell through, 98 and maybe 89 or 90. Couple of them had a Phygital element, but what they all were was independent, local artists and licensors who took part in the marketing and were really active. And so you could say it was because of the Phygital, you could say it was because of that. I think what it shows is diversity of offering and giving IPs from different parts of the world, which of course we can do more of now. We've got Auto Pay Live. That's compelling. People like that, and also the Phygital people like. So yeah, but look, but both of those are things that we're going to do. We're going to do a lot more of. What's your question on the Epico drops, Randy?
What did you think my question was when you were just like, the answer is no? Like, what did you think my question was going to be?
You've said a few times when are they going to make a Ben collectible, and they're not. We're gonna focus on people who've been here a long time, and spent years building this business and
So
the community.
I've had,
Not newcomers.
you're right. I've said that probably more than once when Ben Collectible, but I also think that that is a very untapped market. You've barely scratched the surface of people in the community that people like and will clearly pay for.
Agree.
And you could do another dozen drops like that people will pay for, and it doesn't have to be Ben. Like, it could be anyone that works for the team. It could be the influencers. It could be like whatever you want. And it doesn't have to be through Epico. It could, and obviously, I don't want to advocate for like, yo, cut Epico out. I don't want to publicly advocate for that. If it continues to be with Epico, that's fine. You guys take the majority, lion's share of that anyway. But you guys could do that minimum once a month, and growth 40-50K.
Yes and no. So the tightrope that we always walk in this business, and this isn't unique to VeVe, this is everyone, right? Is what do you do that caters to your existing user base, and what do you do that's appealing to new ones? And so new people who are into Back to the Future but have never thought of collecting digitally, they've never heard of Eagle or VeVe Magic or David. They don't want a collectible. So that's, you want to make sure that you've got a big enough user base if you're going to do that kind of thing. You want to spend your time as well, balance between things that are appealing for the current community to keep them engaged and make sure that they're getting what they want, to also things that are going to attract new people in. So there's that kind of balance. We don't want to overdo it. We don't want to oversaturate it. I'm pretty sure Crypto Rain the other day said to you, I think a monthly one might be a little bit much, but we'll definitely do more, but we'll balance it, right?
Of course. Bill always says that I live by now a content creator. You're never as good as they say, and never as bad as they say. That is a fair point.
It's really good. I like that a lot.
Get to all the comments here. Sorry, guys. I know we're constantly behind. We've been behind the entire time. So yeah, that's the other thing. You've had people have been, a lot of the fudders have said like, oh, they're not a real Web3 company, but a lot of the stuff that really sells is kind of the Web 2, Web 2.5, where that they have the Phygital aspect. Are you guys gonna take that data and lean into it and be like, yeah, let's just slowly become a Web 2 or Web 2.5 company and get rid of the Web 3? Or are you just like, no, it's a good idea to have a foot in both fields?
We're going to play our own game. I mean, we're going to, we're the only ones really doing this now, and so we're going to be VeVe, and so we're building a business that is accessible to as many people as possible. So we don't want to be exclusive and say you're not cool enough to come and be part of our gang because XYZ. So we want to make it accessible. If you're into Web3, you're into NFTs, you can come and take part. If you're not and you're just into reading comics, you can come and take part. And if you just like Batman, you can come and take part. So I don't think we're gonna, we're not gonna pigeonhole ourselves. We're gonna go as broad as possible.
Preach. VeVeVet says that he's gonna hit level 98 likely in a couple of hours.
So close.
How many level 100s are there so far? You guys have been pretty private and keeping that close to the vest.
No, we haven't. We've been super open. I think it's in the 50s right now. There's this whole thing about you guys keep it yourselves. We don't. We sell every single time one comes out. We celebrate. Like there is no secret. There is no nefarious intent.
Like, do we have like a list of, okay, the last one was number 55 or the last one was number?
I'm saying in the 50s, not because I'm trying to avoid it. I don't know the specific number right now. But yeah, there's no secret. There's absolutely no secret. We celebrate the level 100s as soon as they hit that level. We're really excited about it. Yeah, someone just said that Eagle can tell you, but for sure, happy to. Yeah, there's no secrets.
Cool beans. There have been for years plans to go open up into the Asian market. Obviously, you've had it with the Running Man and then those drops. Is there any specific public plan that you can go over, or is it just like when we put it out, you'll know?
No, so I mean, I think you can join the dots, right? We've got Justin, who is based in Korea. That's his job, right? So we've run a few different pilots, Blackpink and some of the artists. That's a definite focus for us, is growing not just in Korea but across Asia. We're talking to comic publishers there too. So yeah, absolutely, that is a stated objective of ours, is to grow into different Asian markets, and it's something that we're really actively working on for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, they did the Phygital with the Black Penny. Part of Korean Drops, Epico is doing well because they engage. Yeah, I mean the Epico. Yeah.
I mean, to have Venkatesh in front of the community and being so open about how the kind of process worked, and that makes a big difference, right? People buy into it and they feel part of it, and they know the guy, they know the team,
Yeah, we're going to ignore the taps in the tub because that's that happened when we were a little tipsy, and we're gonna take that out of there. So we obviously have this via the bridge of Stacker. You're able to take your OMI from Immutable X, and you're able to put it over on base right now.
Yep.
Who's the person to thank for that? And in the future, now that regulations have come back, is there going to be a need for Stacker? And will we be able to use OMI just on the app in general, or is it just like we put a lot of work into Stacker, we're just going to keep it at Stacker?
So person to thank is Patrick and his team, but our engineering team have worked really, really hard on that integration with him. So that's I think where the flowers should go. So a while ago, I can't remember where I said it, but I said that the way that we as a business are going to grow, as it has always been, is through partners. Through our IP partners, we wouldn't be here if we didn't have them. Stackar's one of those partners. So yeah, there's no plans to remove them. We love working with those guys, and we think what they're doing is great, and it just adds. So yeah, the plan is to add on the number of partners that we work with. Cavernous on VeVeverse, for example. We're really good at some things, but where we need experts in other things to come in and be part of our kind of family, we'll work with them too. So yeah, Stackar is absolutely one of them, and we love working with Patrick and his team, even when he's wearing a Spider-Man costume.
I love him too. He's Bay. He's and by the way, when I call people Bay publicly, that's just what I call people. It's like when Kel over at Good Burger says, "Welcome to Good Burger, home of the good," and then he just calls people dude. Just we're all dudes.
Randy, I get called worse than that on a daily basis on X. So you carry on. You crack on.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. We are. I know we still have the universal license. There's a viral TikTok about this. Do you know the legend of La Llorona?
No. Oh, yes, I do. The crying statue. Yes, I do.
I think that's a different one. Or maybe I'm misremembering this. The La Llorona is a lady in white that oversees bodies of water in Mexico, because apparently back in the day, in the 1800s, she went crazy, drowned her 2 kids, and then also drowned herself. And then the kids went to heaven, and God said...
Is your next question when La Llorona on Vivi?
Not necessarily La Llorona. Just, there's a lot of stuff from The Mummy to Nosferatu to just stuff from Universal, Frankenstein's monster. And I was wondering if there's any plans for that, or just like, Randy, we have like 3 years of stuff in the pipeline. We can't just drop everything to give you monsters, which I would understand.
It is exactly that. Yeah, it's exactly that. We've got a full slate planned out, and so when every now and then, like Los Angeles, for example, we'll do a new thing and we'll pop it in and kind of throw everything into chaos, but we try not to. So yeah, we're getting better at planning stuff ahead to go, okay, this event's happening at this time of the year, so we're going to theme something there. But yeah, we can't just stop, throw everything out and do monsters because you fancy, I'm afraid.
I understand. I know we have to bounce, so let's end it here. But before we do, is there anything that you want to go over before we talk off camera for a little bit?
No, I just want to say thanks to everyone. I'm just, it's been 6 months since you and I caught up, and so I just want to say thanks to everyone who's watching for staying with us, bearing with us, for their feedback, for the compliments when stuff's going well. That means a lot to the team. And yeah, just really excited that we're delivering and there's more stuff to come. So yeah, keep an eye out and see you all in the VeVeverse.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. You have no idea how much.